A short person, tall person, now a medium person.
No, just.
Okay. After Rudy's retirement announcement, and after the shockwave leveled the division, I heard rumblings from among the faculty. The question was clear. Who's going to fill Rudy's shoes? Well, no one can. For one thing, they're too big. And for another, there are too many. There are the business shoes, the carpenter shoes, the asbestos shoes, the computer shoes, the counselor shoes, the institutional politics shoes, the defending our program shoes, the committee shoes, and of course, the sneakers. Each year, Rudy has asked us to submit an evaluation of him. For the last time, I would like to submit the final evaluation of Division Chair Dr. Rudy Fiorillo, still almost behind us. So here goes. This evaluation has two sections, strong points and comments. Strong points. Many years ago, I learned two fundamental strengths of Rudy. After my divorce, I had asked Renee Cheney, Charles Erico, and Rudy to help me get my newly purchased townhouse ready to move into. Renee took patio duty and was busily pulling weeds along the cement cracks when Rudy arrived. When I answered the door, I had a paint can and brush in hand, which Rudy immediately grabbed and asked, "Where's the job?" I led him to a rather sizable utility room and said I had hoped to paint the shelving and the cement floor. He responded, "Okay, you go do something else." I thought at the very least it would have been an all-day job. But early that afternoon, everything was finished, and we were off to lunch. I thereby learned two things. One, he gets the job done. Two, he cares about friendship, and he acts on it. So the first strong point is, he realized the need, sought the vision, and got the job done. Rudy has created an infrastructure and learning environment that it would have been virtually impossible for most human beings to accomplish. A few examples will have to suffice, and you've already received some. But there are many more I don't have time or space to recount. In spite of strangling budget cuts and limitations, Rudy has managed to create and update computer labs and ensure that we have the kind of technology that is in keeping with evolving educational goals. He has created and recreated space needs when new faculty have come aboard and programs have been incorporated into our division. Music got its recital hall, art got its gallery, dance got its space dance floor and mirrors, drama got its black box, photography got its ventilated lab space, and the building got rewired for technology for the present as well as the future. And not to forget the basics, we now have an HVAC system that allows us to speak rather than yell, and a roof that keeps us dry. Rudy not only planned and saw through these improvements, he handled the unexpected too, somehow mastering whatever skills the task required, even if they were not what the job description had called for. While initiating a photography ventilation project, a nightmare emerged. Yes, asbestos. The entire building submerged in a root removal endeavor. Realizing how threatening this was to the life of conducting education, Rudy became a hard hat supervisor and masterminded the asbestos abatement process, ensuring at the same time that instruction took place without interruption. This would have been enough to depress even the lightest soul. Yet, throughout, he not only got the job done, but maintained a sense of humor and cheerfulness. As our advocate, he got the job done too. His creative methods of interpreting productivity formulas for programs that cannot fit into the equation has saved programs like ours from annihilation. He volunteered, yes, volunteered, for all too many committees in order to keep abreast of the overall picture and to ensure that our programs received the representation and voice that would protect us from uninformed or misguided administrative or political decisions. He nudged, prodded, clarified, invented, and downright fought to keep us whole. And a lot of that we never knew about because it often happened quietly, seemingly in the course of normal affairs, so that we could carry out instruction without hassle or interruption. His support enabled a quality educational process to flourish and demonstrated his dedication to students and the learning environment. As we participate in the opening of the Schlesinger Center after a 13-year gestation period, it is Rudy we have to thank for ensuring that our academic and performing groups have an appropriate presence in the new center, one that lets Nova meld and grow with the community instead of just renting space in it. The second strong point, he cares and he acts on it. Again, I can only give a few possible examples of the many. Every year, Rudy has prepared a personal narrative to attach to our faculty evaluation forms. And every year, he has given a thoughtful account of what he felt and I had accomplished, with such beautifully written insights that I gained a better understanding of my own strengths and was motivated to develop in other areas. It has always astonished me that these narratives had to have taken considerable time. Yet I know he does this for all the faculty. And each one is different. Each one is personal. Each one demonstrates how much he cares. You'd have to put me in isolation for several months to come up with those for an entire division. Rudy has always left us free to follow our visions as faculty, free to come to him without fear, free to explore an idea or report a frustration or a need, or free even to suggest a plan that is different or an idea that is different from his own. Remember the division meeting where we collapsed the evaluation form itself into just a few categories? // Does this sound familiar? Rudy, I have a problem. I need your help. Can you find the money? My computer doesn't work. Where's the? What's the? Why is the? And of course, what happened to them? And he listened. Do you remember him saying, we'll make that work. We'll find it. Sure, no problem. That's a problem, folks. I'll try to find an answer, and he does. And he did. And he still does. Rudy also showed his care and regard for us by what he didn't do. He never grandstanded or stole the limelight. He never played boss by putting us down. He never called meetings just to preside at them. And he never wasted our time. It would miss the point to call this just humility. Rudy never saw his role as division chair to be the big cheese. He saw his duty as serving our needs and facilitating our work. He cared about us as educators and individuals and showed it every day. Now we come to the comments section. To achieve all that has been accomplished in the infrastructure, academics and administrative drudgery, as well as creativity, not to mention personal care for his colleagues, has taken untold hours beyond the 40-hour work week. I know that even beyond the extended hours and weekends spent here, Rudy went home and worked more, caught little sleep, and was up again in the wee hours in the morning to work again before returning to campus. I know that Kathy can attest to this. Rudy gave 22 years of his life to this division. Long ago, I was taught, leave a place or situation better than you found it. It is such a simple and yet profound measure of human affairs. Division chair